When you think of narcolepsy, you might think of people falling asleep at random times of the day. However, narcolepsy has less to do with falling asleep and more to do with the struggle of staying awake. Narcolepsy is a neurological disorder in which your brain loses its ability to control your sleep-wake cycle. There are four main symptoms of it that include cataplexy, hypnagogic hallucinations, daytime sleepiness, and sleep paralysis. Only an estimated 1 in every 2,000 people in the US are diagnosed with narcolepsy, and I, Peyton Freeney, am one of them. My narcolepsy makes me naturally sleepy throughout the day, but occasionally I'll be in class and I'll experience cataplexy, or what I like to call a sleep attack. When it happens, I'm conscious that I'm falling asleep, but I lose control of some of my muscles and it becomes a literal fight to try and stay awake. If I end up actually falling asleep, sometimes I'll enter a state of sleep paralysis in which my body is unable to move and I won't be able to wake up. Before I was diagnosed with narcolepsy and I had no clue about the symptoms, I was a complete mess. I would be in class and I would fall asleep more than the average person, and I would miss basically everything that we would learn. We would read Shakespeare in class and I'll be like, Macbeth did what? Some teachers were annoying and never passed up the chance to call me out when I was dozing off, but other teachers were more forgiving, and instead of yelling at me for something that was more than not out of their control, it became something we could laugh about. It eventually turned into a joke between my family and friends that I lived most of my life asleep. That helped a lot because not only did I avoid the embarrassment, but it made me feel less guilty about the inconveniences my odd sleeping habits sometimes caused other people. And, sometimes laughter is the best medicine. But the thing is, it's not a cure. I hated the embarrassment so much that I would do anything and everything to stay awake. I would drink water all the time, I would snack on things, I would bite my tongue. At one point, it got so bad that I would pinch myself on the back of my hand and hold it, but after a while I started to develop these scars, and no matter what I tried, it only seemed like my symptoms were getting worse. My sleep patterns would get in the way of my school life or my work life, and over time it just brought out a lot of insecurities in me, and eventually I felt like I was a burden to everyone around me, especially my parents, who I think have gotten the worst of it.
So there was one incident that actually transpired in high school that was really a turning point for me. So you were driving home and you had an accident where you ended up on the other side of the road. Didn't hit anybody. There wasn't any oncoming traffic. However, you did jump the curb and you had a flat tire. I wasn't in town. Your dad wasn't available. So I ended up having to call your grandfather in order to get to you to help you in that incident. And the police officer came, and I remember you were saying that he was asking you, how did you end up over here? How did you end up on this side of the road? I asked you several times. I was very persistent asking you, Peyton, what happened? Were you on your phone? Were you talking? Did you look away? And you finally admitted to me that you had fallen asleep at the wheel. When you told me that is when I decided that we had to find out what was really going on.
After that incident, my parents took me to the doctors to get tested. So I went into a sleep clinic where they put a whole bunch of wires on me while I slept all day. And after the results came in, it was clear I had narcolepsy. When I was diagnosed, it kind of felt like this weight was lifted off my shoulders because it meant that there was a medical excuse for everything that I had been going through, and it wasn't all my fault. I was also happy because it meant that I would be able to get medicine to treat my illness. Now, every day I have to take 2 pills, one in the morning and one in the afternoon to help me stay awake. I've also learned many methods and strategies to help me adapt to life with this illness. Whether it's taking a 10-minute nap or setting a bedtime for myself or taking public transportation, I'll most likely live with this illness the rest of my life, but it's definitely manageable. And when I think about it, it's not entirely bad.
Normally, when a healthy person goes to bed, they go through the sleep cycle lasting an hour or more before they reach rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, which is the stage of sleep characterized by dreaming. People with narcolepsy fall asleep very quickly, in as little as 5 minutes, and they often enter REM sleep in just a few minutes. This can result in very vivid dreams, even with brief naps.
Because my relationship to sleep had become such an important part of my life, I started to develop a deep fascination for dreams and the concept and theories behind them. After my junior year of high school, I did a summer program at the University of Iowa where we had 2 weeks to create and present a science and art project. For the science project, I actually chose to research dreams, but me being me, I completely failed my presentation. However, I had a lot of fun with the art project because I decided to create an experimental short film inspired by what I was researching. It basically followed the life of a girl who experiences different dreams inspired by what she did the previous day. And by the end of the week, the distinction between dreams and reality fades, and you couldn't really tell which is which. It turned out kind of bad, but it was fun to make because all of the dreams in the video were inspired by different dreams I had been having. And the film was a representation of what I feel like sometimes living with narcolepsy. I live in this place in between a dream world and the real world, but they both seem to be in conversation with each other, and the symptoms of my narcolepsy almost allow me to hear that conversation better than the average person.
The third symptom is hallucinations around the edges of sleep. These are vivid, often frightening, visual, tactile, or auditory hallucinations that occur when falling asleep, in which case they're called hypnagogic hallucinations, or upon awakening, which are called hypnopompic hallucinations. Common hallucinations are imagining a threatening stranger or animals in the bedroom. They probably result from a mixture of wakefulness and the dreaming of REM sleep.
Sometimes I'll be mid-conversation with somebody and I'll start falling asleep, but I'll also start having dreams and hallucinations in relation to what we were talking about or what I was experiencing before I fell asleep. Sometimes it'll become so realistic that it'll become quite eerie, but even then I still try and find some meaning out of it.
In the early 1900s, Sigmund Freud proposed that while all of our dreams, including our nightmares, are a collection of images from our daily conscious lives, they also have symbolic meanings, which relate to the fulfillment of our subconscious wishes. Freud theorized that everything we remember when we wake up from a dream is a symbolic representation of our unconscious primitive thoughts, urges, and desires. Freud believed that by analyzing those remembered elements, the unconscious content would be revealed to our conscious mind, and psychological issues stemming from its repression could be addressed and resolved.
On the other hand, my dreams may take on a more creative form. Since I love music and songwriting, I will often hear melodies in my dreams related to the songs I'm either currently writing or a completely new song I haven't even written yet. And depending on how conscious I am, sometimes I can force myself awake and sing it quick enough to catch a recording of it on my phone.
Paul McCartney famously dreamt the song yesterday. He woke up, he went to his piano, he thought, this is a great tune, let me see if I can figure it out, and he found the chords, and that became the song, one of the most beautiful songs ever written. Now, I think it's unfortunate. Most of us probably won't have one of these deep, profound dreams that lead us to these insights. And I don't think it's because we're not capable. I think it's because most of the time we're not really paying attention to our dreams. We don't really take them seriously. People think that dreams are just a bunch of nonsense and garbage. We wake up, we shrug it off, we go about our day as if it never happens.
I just love how dreams seem to stimulate my imagination in every way. They're a reminder that our minds are natural storytellers.
Maybe that's why I'm one. I see what you did there, God. I see what you did there.
Maybe it's my childish imagination at play, but I like to think of my narcolepsy as a superpower. I mean, how many people can say that they live in a limbo between dreams and reality? Or how many people can say that they have as close a relationship to their dreams as I do? Shoot, half the world forgets their dreams every night anyway. In many ancient cultures, they perceived dreams in relation to oracles and prophets. So, yeah, I do like to think of my narcolepsy as something more than just an illness. It took me a long time to get to this state of mind, but I'm proud of myself. My journey with narcolepsy has taught me to accept things about myself that I might not be able to control. It's just another part of me as a human being that I'm not ashamed of anymore.
Now, it's not like when I meet someone, I'm like, hello, my name is Peyton. I have narcolepsy. What do you have? No, I'm not like that.
Everyone deals with their own struggles, but if I could say one thing, it's to learn to love yourself. I know it sounds cliche, but the world doesn't define who you are. You do. And the sooner you take back control of your own narrative, the sooner you'll find your happy ending. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cliche. I tried. Redo. Once you take control of your own narrative, who knows? Maybe you're a superhero too. Ah! Damn, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think that you'll be fine. I think that, you're mindful and you're intentional so that you'll be able to be successful in whatever arena or area or profession that you're in. And also, I think that, whoever is around you, the family understands what your diagnosis is. And so, we love you and we just accept you for who you are.